Check it out, guys. Another new environment unlocked, and that's just because I'm all over the place. But look at, hey, do you like the little metal sunflower art sculpture right there? What about this hibiscus plant that always seems to be blooming no matter what time of year it is? Check that out. It's beautiful. We'll put that right there. But we aren't here to talk about the hectic complexities of my life. Here today we're going to talk about the InAwaken Dawn Mistwood. InAwaken is a relatively new brand that came out swinging with its first couple releases. Now, I've already reviewed Dawn and Twilight quite positively enough that they earned themselves a spot on the recommendation list. Dawn is just $50, and the thing that caught me and probably a number of you is that it's a gorgeous IEM. I really like the clear shell, and that let you get a good look at the 12.2mm purple gold dynamic driver diaphragm. Then you flip it around and the faceplate is a nice glittery resin. Its sound is very contrasty and engaging, and then Twilight had this Damascus steel faceplate and 12 freaking drivers. You had 4 dynamics total, but it is a pair of 2 coaxial oriented drivers firing at each other. So you had 2 dynamics stacked over here and 2 dynamics stacked over here, and they'd fire at each other and shoot sound out the side. It's some really cool stuff. Accompany that with 8 balanced armatures, and that one had a pretty funky tuning, but again, I thought it was a lot of fun. That one, of course, being much more expensive at $350. Now here comes Mistwood, seemingly just a premium version of the original Dawn, coming in at $70 as opposed to the original Dawn at $50. Instead of the purple gold, we have a regular gold-plated diaphragm, still 11.2mm. They could be doubling down on this gold-plated diaphragm as a way to add a little bit of mass and dampen some harsh resonance. But the other interesting thing that they have done here is a multi-port expansion chamber for the back pressure wave produced by the driver. InAwaken says that its triple hole array regulates back wave attenuation, reduces airflow noise, and delivers smooth frequency response while enhancing clogging resonance and durability. This thoughtful engineering brings you clear, steady sound and crisp, resilient bass for a wonderful listening experience. We've seen similar sort of back pressure attenuation tuning in the likes of Kiwi-Ear Singolo and Cadenza 2. These shells are a little bit bigger than Dawn, but still a very reasonable size. The faceplate is super cool. I love the color and how it has this bit of a 3D effect, like the design is sunken in a couple millimeters. It's another gorgeous shell from InAwaken. So anyway, inside the box, we got a couple different sets of ear tips. We actually got these yellow bore silicone tips with the InAwaken Twilight as well. Then we have these kind of wide, fluted liquid silicone tips that are really a really nice inclusion at this price point. The travel case we get feels a little bit too small for my liking, but par for the course at this price point. The cable is a little thin and wiry feeling. There's also no swappable terminations. It's definitely not my favorite cable, but it does have a trick up its sleeve. If you look at the Y-split, you will see spare tuning filters screwed into the side. I don't think I've ever seen that before, and that's a pretty clever way to kind of store and carry around your filters. Now, I think that one of 2 things are gonna happen. One, you're gonna always have your filters on you. You're gonna be able to swap them out whenever you want, and that's gonna be totally fine. Or 2, those filters are slowly going to back off of that. They're going to fall out as you're just running your cable day to day, and you're going to lose them never to be seen again. I suppose time will tell for that, and for $70, this is all a pretty cool kit. It's very thoughtfully put together. I like it. However, none of that means absolutely anything if they don't sound good. Now, at least at the time of recording, there's no third-party graphs on SquigLink that show both tuning nozzle frequency responses, but there is this one that is just showing, I believe, the silver nozzles. According to the back of the box, the gold nozzles are going to give us more ear gain in treble. Anyway, sticking with the silver nozzles for now, How do they sound? The first song I listened to was Chlorine by 21 Pilots. This song has a lot of sub bass with these higher pitched snare drums and a lot of room effects. It's a really fun dynamic song to sit down and listen to. I felt the sub bass might have been a little bit too powerful to really keep a nice balance. When those heavier bass hits that come in, everything else quiets down just a little bit and we lose out on some of the more ethereal room effects they have going on. Okay, so we know that the bass is thumping with these, but let's check it with High Visibility by Chevelle. That opening bass line and kick drums just have so much presence and weight. So with the silver nozzles, I think we're seeing pretty quickly where the strength of that tuning is going to lie. Lie? I think it's lay. Anyway, just for fun, let's chat about the Death album by Metalocalypse, Death Clock. First things first, if you aren't familiar with that album, it is absolutely awesome. It's so fun to listen to. At its core, it's kind of a parody of death metal.
I'm dark and brutal and filled with hatred.
Read the lyrics for Face Fisted and Blood Recuted. You'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's not recorded very well, so for IEMs that are not super good at layering and instrument separation, it is easy for things to converge into a blob of sound, and I'm pretty surprised how the Mistwood handled it. That album sounded pretty damn good. Lots of instrument weight, so the sort of cyclical marching rhythm of The Lost Vikings is super engaging. By contrast, the chorus of Death Harmonic sounds a bit of a mess trying to blend the orchestral and death metal elements. We'll revisit that song when we swap for the gold tips. So with the silver tips, I think we found its strength with that low end focus, this thumping bass. However, slower ballads and things that are going to favor a more high-pitched, slower melodic sort of a vibe, they may suffer a little bit from that low-end focus, especially with that 500 hertz dip. Let's swap to the gold nozzles and revisit Death Harmonic. Remember, this should give us a bit more ear gain and treble. Hopefully, this will give the violins some more presence. It didn't. Well, we tried. Let's move on. Something that tuning should favor is a slower ballad like a Stone by Audioslave. Snare drums have a crisp, satisfying crack, while Tom's high-pitched guitar has that beautiful ethereal tone that I'm looking for. I do feel like we are skipping over Chris's voice just a little bit, probably because of that mid-range dip, but with the gold nozzles helping with the beginning of that ear gain rise, we should get some good female vocals. Broken Pieces Shine by Evanescence sounds awesome, especially in the opening. That deep drum line has so much presence, but it doesn't drown out Amy's voice. Okay, again, we're finding the strengths of this tuning. Let's lean into that high-pitched tone with Halo by Poppy. These gold nozzles sound great. I'm not 100% sure what instruments they are using in this song, but from what I can identify, the slow rhythmic drums, they sound good. Piano and her voice play very nicely together. Then for some contrast, let's just throw Bravada by Slaughter to Prevail in there. Okay, definitely more fun with the silver nozzles. I was able to turn it up a little bit louder, and I think the silver nozzles just handled the extreme vocals and explosive instrumental drops in a more fun and impactful way. Shit, man, $70? This thing is really cool. I really like it. I think the package as a whole is really nice. Physical tuning options are always a good inclusion. The cable is a bit wiry, but whatever. I do think the mid-range dip is doing the overall tuning a disservice, but in my subjective listening, the two different nozzles having noticeable impacts on the sound allows Mistwood to cover more music really well. That's awesome. Not only am I going to add this to the recommendation list, but it's going to steal the B Media pick tag away from the SIMGA EW300. And this is super exciting for me because the SIMGA EW300 and the Kafine Delcy have just stayed perfectly comfortable at the $70-ish price bracket basically since I started the recommendation list. They have kind of just gone uncontested. There's been $60, there's been $100, but nothing has really challenged that $70 to $80 price bracket until now, and that's super exciting. Competition is good for the consumer. So I'm stoked that I can add something there that is not just good, but in my opinion, rather exceptional for the price. Guys, I hope this helps. A huge thank you to Linsoul for having me here. Linsoul is the first place that you are going to check when you are buying audio equipment. When you are looking for audio equipment, they have absolutely everything you are going to need, whether you are a beginner just trying to get into the hobby or you've been in it for years, you're graph sniffing audiophile, you're looking for your next fix. Linsoul has you covered, and they are the first place you're going to check out. You understand that, right? You understand that? They're the first place you're gonna look. Despite being featured here on the Linsoul channel, Linsoul does not pay me to make these videos, and that was my choice. I wanted to maintain my independence as a creator. So if you would like to support what I do here, there's two different ways. One is I have a Patreon. It starts at just $1.50 a month, so it's super approachable, and what that gives you is behind the scenes access of everything that I've got going on, and I get a ton of review units in. I don't need to keep all of those review units, so I sell those review units for 50% off of MSRP when I'm done with them. But I get it, Patreon's not your thing. I also have my recommendation list that has I've curated this list to just be so easy to get you something great. You can check that recommendation list and know that it is something that I have tested, I have vetted, and know that I think it is either great or exceptional. Shopping that recommendation list also helps me out greatly. So check out the InAwaken Dawn Mistwood on the recommendation list, guys. Until next time, I'll see you later.